You guys ready? Happy Malli release, everyone. Bang, there she is. From the top, we got Big Kick, which is pretty much the same kick I use on this whole album, to be honest. I love this plugin. Yeah, it's just like a synth kick. So that's doing this. So it's just doing like the, I guess you call it like, yeah, like the sub of the kick. But when you layer it up with the other ones, yeah. There you go. So you got one doing like the body and the underneath and you know, they're all just doing their thing. I have multiple side chains triggering. I don't like to trigger the side chain with the kick drum itself. The main reason for that is because I do a lot of automation on the length of the kick. So sometimes it will go boom and sometimes it will go boop, boop. And, you know, I just want control over the amount of pumping that the synth or the vocal or whatever I'm side chaining is doing. And so, you know, if you're sending it boom, you can't have a quick like, whoop, you know, you're out of control. So I like to just use a little beep, basically. Like this is all that my sidechain sends. Like a metronome. Yeah, we can listen to the bus now and the plugins and what's going on there. So first of all, we're going into the API. Very subtle compression on that. Literally just taken off a couple of dB, if that. I think I just didn't think it needed it. I thought it was punchy enough. So yeah, usually I would back off the wet dry mix, but it's doing its thing just fine. Then into the Studer. None of this is changing really, guys. Same thing I always do. I've kept it quite clean for this song. I didn't feel like this song needed much like squelch, you know. It just, Fatimata's voice is so soft and sensitive and floaty that it doesn't need a big distorted, you know, kit underneath. So I kept it out of the red. This is what it would have sounded like in the red. You know, it definitely feels like it has more energy immediately, but I think in the mix, I ended up just backing it way down. I thought it was really just nice to have it clean and not too distorted this time. But still, like, the saturation is going to be adding a lot, you know, gluing it together. We're just looking for glue at this point. We got the inflator. Here it is without. As always, that thing just bringing everything to life. It's so good. Bit of saturation. So same kind of thing as the Studer was doing, the tape, but a little bit more sparkly. I've literally only got it on like 12%, is that? Or yeah, 13%. But I've rolled off some EQ in here as well. Sometimes I like to EQ the top end in this plugin. I just feel like it does it in a very like different, transparent way. So I've just taken down the presence. I think now it probably makes sense to go to the bass. Here's the bass bus here. We've got 3 basses in this tune, 2 bass guitars, and a sine wave bass for the sub. Yeah, it'll do for now. That's pretty much how we had it. So you got 1 bass guitar doing that, and then another one on top. Yeah, it's almost like a kick. It's like a kick being pitched around, and I would have added that in because I probably didn't think that the bass guitar had enough attack. Sometimes the bass can be a bit like boom, 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 and sometimes you want it to be a bit like boom, boom, boom. So, you know, if I solo it without it and then put it in, I think you'll hear what I'm talking about. It just adds like almost extra finger noise. Do you know what I mean? Just adds as if you compressed it harder, but without compressing it. So, and then we've got the big boy underneath, the Repro one, huge sine bass. That is literally just doing a big sine wave, I think. So then all together. So you can see in the sine, this is the sine EQ, I'm taking out some of like 100 hertz because there's already a lot of bass guitar information going on there. I've rolled off everything below 20 because only elephants can hear that. So that's doing that. A lot of plugins on the bass guitar. Here you go, here it is without any. First of all, a bit of compression. I like the DBX 160 for bass guitar. It's really attacky and it gives me that finger noise that I'm looking for on that initial attack. A little bit of overdrive. It's not really doing much, to be honest. That's just force of habit, putting Logic Overdrive. Rolling off the top, getting rid of some of that fingery hiss stuff that we don't need. Just getting rid of those like that we didn't need, and this is all just little resonance bumps I didn't like. I guess there's a frequency there I didn't like. Yeah, it's minor. That's probably overdoing it, to be honest. Then we're going into a decapitator. Super minor amount of distortion there. That's probably not even worth having on, but I did. And then we're going into a couple of decimorts. I love these bit crushers. Decimort. So those are doing that little on the top. I'll turn it up for you guys. So one's doing kind of white noise and the other one's doing like a frequency. I like that on bass. It's nice. It kind of gives it a little bit of sparkle on the top. I added 2 of those. Then we're going into the Isotope vocal doubler, and it's on super wide, only 1% chorus, and just having it in a little bit. So that's just adding some width and almost some chorus to the bass. If you're in headphones, you'll probably notice that. If I press this button, you'll hear what it's doing only. So that's, yeah, very wide and, you know, just making it a bit less down the middle, a bit more interesting. And then into the Echo Boy. Delay for bass might, yeah, maybe that's a bit weird, but so I like it. All right, pads and stuff it is. Here are... So there you go. There's a few of the plugins too. First thing, well, I'll take them all off first so you can hear what it's doing without. And then with. So yeah, lots of improvements there. You got Decapitator first, going in quite hot actually. I wanted to dirty it up. I do that quite often with Digi, like plug-in polysynths, because you know they can sound a bit too clean sometimes, so you want to just give it some dirt on the way in. So there you go, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tracks of automation just on this one synth. Oh, actually no, volume's doubled up, maybe 8 or 9. So yeah, we're controlling the release of the synth. We're doing some EQ build-ups here. Some, yeah, no, release, making it longer. You know, just bring the synth to life a bit, giving it movement, giving it some character. And then we got some effects build-ups here. These two are the Valhalla and the H-Delay building up as well. We can talk about the plugins. So let's go back to the lead vocal. I'll mute all the bus, all the effects.
Malli, Malli denga dua ke tungana dewe Malli, Malli nyana fimba una Malli, Malli.
So first thing I hear is super uncompressed and lots of low mids. So the first thing I did was whack it through a tube tech.
Malli, Malli denga dua ke tungana dewe Malli, Malli nyana fimba.
Just controlling those peaks, and then yep. Took out a load of low mids, a bit of a shelf there, and a couple little resonance filters up the top. Probably just taking out some harshness that I didn't like.
Malli, Malli
It actually sounds like a lot on its own, but because there's 3 of her doing it at once, those low mids really start to build up when you put them all in together. So I'm taking out quite a lot of low mids here, but it's when you have to watch your low mids build. And then we're going into Saturn. I don't know how she recorded this. I don't know what mic, what gear or anything. So I thought to be safe, I'd run it through some tube, just to make sure it had been through some tube-like stuff and give it some shine. And I think I did that on all of them. Oh, a bit of de-esser. Bit of de-essing as well, especially on the BVs there.
Malli, Malli, Malli dunga dua uke tungana dunga Malli, Malli, Malli nyana fimbuna.
It's literally just doing the f of fimbuna. So, oh yeah, that's the vocoder. We'll get to that. We're actually sending it to an altar boy for an octave down shift.
Malli, Malli, Malli dunga dua uke tungana dunga Malli, Malli, Malli nyana fimbuna. Malli, Malli.
No worries. There's a high octave though, but that does come and go. That one, I'm pretty sure that one's got some automation on the bus. Yeah, you can see it here. So halfway through the chorus, the octave above comes in. So it sounds kind of crappy on its own, but in the mix, I was happy with it. I thought it worked, so I just left it like that. Yeah, so now we can move on to the bus. So all 3 of these 3 vocals here, are all going through all of these plugins. So there's a lot of processing there. Let's take you to the mix page. So yeah, that's the 3 vocals there we just heard. So first of all, we're going into the Wave CLA. So just grouping them all together, like gluing them together, making sure they react together. Not massive amounts of compression, just taking off the peaks. And then we're going into a decapitator for the same reason. I've actually got that on punish, so that's actually given it a lot of distortion. It's just that I've backed it off on the mix here. I really like that about decapitator. You know, you can push it really hard and then just back it down and get the sound you want while still working it and, you know, getting all those nice harmonics to pop out. And then into Soothe. Soothe is doing quite a lot here, actually. I think this is just Soothe 1. Yeah, classic Soothe. So now you're hearing all the stuff it's taking away because I've inverted it. So for those who don't know, Soothe, everything you just heard there, that is what it's removing from the vocal. So it's all those harshness, the stuff that gives you tinnitus, just the stuff you don't need in a vocal. It's very good on a vocal, very good on guitar, and I even put it on the master out sometimes. I know mastering engineers who use this thing. You've got my pretty much traditional, normal Disclosure master out. I'll pull the plugins up now, see if I can fit them all in the window. That'll do. I mean, actually, the EQ is doing nothing. So again, I think I went through this with you the other day. I like to put a bit of EQ on my master out just to make it sound the way I want it to sound. And then once I get to mastering, I'll basically show this to the mastering engineer and I'll be like, look, here's what I thought should be happening. Can you do it with your lovely piece of equipment, your beautiful outboard EQ? So that's why I bypassed it, because I would have been like, yo, let's do it. Here's what we need. Bypass, bounce it out, and then he would have done that for me. And the limiting as well. So, you know, we don't need to see the limiter, you guys. So that's without the plugins. And here's with. So very subtle, 2 dB reduction on the SSL, nowhere near the red on the tape, 1 or 2 dB on the Drama. I think that's it, guys. I think we got there. I think that's everything.